kind of unexpectedly our last class. Yikes, that's okay. Sydney came in, she's like, you're finished material, right? And usually I'm not, but I was like, actually I am. She's like, okay, great, no class on Thursday then. I'm like, you got it. So, so this is our last class, which means I should tell you what to expect for the final exam. That's a good place to start. It was the end of the material. Like a whole class today? It's a choose your own adventure. I'm going to give you the outline for the final exam and then give you time to work on your mini projects. But I extended it to the 16th. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are so grateful. I need to set like really tight timelines. Oh, and then extend them. That's one way to do it, I guess. Hopefully, you got my my announcement that I sent out about the alternative mini project. So if you're feeling kind of overwhelmed with finding a data set and making up your own questions, then instead of doing that, you can do this mini project that I posted where I give you a data set. Now that's a randomly generated data set. It's, you know, just do the questions that it asks you to do and then make your Excel spreadsheet. It's got the instructions in there. So if you prefer to do that, then that's totally fine. But if you do this mini project here, this one, doesn't say anything, then you may not work in a group. That one has to be on your own. Yeah. Whereas if you're working on a different data set and you're making up your own questions, then I encourage you to work in a group instead. Okay, so kind of two different options. Okay, you only have to do one, obviously. Please only do one. Otherwise, I'll be so confused. I did find something funny when I was making this data set because it's about one of the fish are rainbow trout. And did you know that the average lifespan of a rainbow trout is around 6 years? However, they can sometimes reach up to 8 years old, depending on factors such as size and age. Wow. Don't say something stupid like that. But that is a screenshot. It is out there. I hope, yeah, depending on things like size and age. Wow. I wonder if it's still there. This is from a year ago. So I don't know, but kind of funny. So I posted it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, solid regression there. I posted a formula sheet, and as I'm looking at that, I realized I forgot to print some and bring some. So how about after class, I'll print some off, and then you can come by and grab them if you want a paper copy. I know everyone loves free paper, so I can do that for you. I smushed it a little bit. So it's all kind of, I tried to keep it on one page, but I couldn't quite pull it off with the 2 sample numerical data ones. But this is the formula sheet that you'll have on the final exam. Oh, can do it. Okay, what else did I want to say here? Oh yeah, I guess, because I don't want anyone coming in early on Thursday, there's no class because capstones. But I don't think the capstones, I think they start at 9 or 9:30 or something. So you get a little bit of a sleep, I guess. Oh well. Okay. Any questions about the two different options for the mini project or how to predict age of a rainbow trout? Can use their age. To the 16th, yeah. It was the 11th. Yeah. Yeah. And the remaining assignments, I bumped them until Friday, the 11th. Yeah, I think they're, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the bonus assignment 1 was due on Sunday because I had to get kind of information on it. But bonus assignment 2 is due on the 11th. No, you can just tell me if you have anything. Yeah. Okay. How about that final exam, huh? Wow. Oops. First, I have decided, thank you. I have decided to stick with what we've been doing, okay? And just pulling questions from the textbook. But to make it nicer, from all the quizzes, that material I'll pull from the quizzes. Okay? So it's like even more narrowed down. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Aw. So I will be pulling from the quizzes. You have your quizzes back. I encourage you to stop in if there's anything where you're like, hey, why did you take marks off here? And we can talk about that. Okay? I'm hesitant to post the solutions. A lot of the solutions are just in the textbook. I was pulling from mostly the solutions or the questions that have solutions in the back. And so you do have those, but if they're too sparse, then come see me. Okay? I know I'm bullying you into seeing me because if I post the solutions, what often happens is you scroll through those and, oh yeah, I would totally do that. Oh yeah, for sure. I would have done that for sure. And so you can come see me and we can work out the solutions together. I think that's a lot better. Okay. So the final exam. Well, we've got a little bit of new material that you haven't been quizzed on. Right? And so what I want to start with is just outlining the questions that you don't need to focus on, right? Questions that involve randomization and bootstrapping, because I'm not going to quiz you on that, okay? And so let's start there. Questions you can ignore. In chapter 19, you can ignore, well, 6 and 11. Wow, really thinning the herd here. In chapter 20, you can ignore 3 to 8. And in chapter 21, you can ignore 6 to 9 as well as 14. You're ignoring any questions with randomization testing, which is not just randomization, right? Randomly selecting things, randomization testing, and bootstrapping. And we're going to focus on the mathematical models. Okay. I am also not going to get you to check the conditions. And so you will not need to check the conditions for inference. So you don't have to check the conditions, just like on quiz 4, where I said you may assume the conditions for inference are satisfied, and then we just go ahead and do it. Okay. So what do you need to do? So on the, let's see here. I know I already wrote final exam, but here's a final exam overview. I feel like saying questions from the quizzes is enough, but I'll be really nice and say from quiz number 1, there's going to be 4 marks. Just itty bitty. We were just starting out, and there's a lot of kind of groundwork that we were doing in quiz 1, but there's not really a lot to bring into the final exam, right? We've kind of built on it all. So from quiz number 2, there's 8 marks. A little bit more. From quiz number 3, quiz number 2 was regression. And then quiz number 3, we introduced things like type 1, type 2 errors, and just kind of general skills around confidence intervals, hypothesis testing, which we carry on into quiz 4. And so from quiz 3, I've got 17 marks. And quiz number 4, I've got 26 marks. Which means if my, I have a question mark, but roughly 55 marks. I can't remember what I added up, but roughly. There's some wiggle room there. I can kind of, I haven't, typed it up yet, so reserve the right to change some of those, but nothing drastic, okay? Now, how about the new material? So from chapter 19, there's going to be 10 marks. That was the one sample means section. And chapter 20, I have roughly 13 marks. What? That was 2 sample means, right? Chapter 20 is 2 sample means, which is a really kind of important section. We spent a lot of time working our way up to be able to compare 2 means, right? 2 independent sample means, which is often the hypothesis test that you will be doing in real life. And likely the hypothesis test that you'll be doing on your capstone if you do any stats, right? Which I think you do. And then chapter 21 was the special case where we have paired data, right? If there's some natural pairing on our two observations, right, or our two samples, then we treat them as paired data, and it basically, we turn it into a one sample of differences, right? And I have about 9 marks here. Making what? I've got 32 marks. Now, if you kind of go through, roughly 87 marks is what I have. Now, if you were to only study the quizzes and really nail the quizzes, you could get a passing grade. Right? You want to do a little bit better than that, but you could. Right? There's still kind of a heavy emphasis on the new stuff, right? But I think this way, kind of reasonable to be able to do relatively well. Now, usually I do things in the order that they appear. But one of the skills for hypothesis testing and confidence intervals is to figure out, okay, what type of question is this, right? And so for that reason, these questions will be out of order, okay? Kind of jumbled, right? One sample proportions could be followed by a 2 sample means, can be followed by a chi-squared test of independence, could be followed by, you get the idea, right? And so just kind of hodgepodge. And so these questions will be out of order. What can I say? Will be jumbled? Can I say that? But that also means that for 1 mark on each of those questions, I'm going to ask you, hey, what type of question is this? Right? And so on quiz 4, you had a little multiple choice. Now that's going to take up a lot of space. And so what I'm going to do is just get you to write it. Right? So quiz 4, you practiced kind of picking what type of question it is. Okay. But what I mean is you can just tell me, you can tell me the header on the formula sheet, right? And so those are the options that you're choosing from, and I'll remind you in the final exam. Okay. So starting with 1 sample proportion, right? That's one type of question. 2 sample proportions, that's another type of question. Chi-squared test of independence, 1 sample mean, 2 sample means, or paired data. Right? Those are your only options. Okay. So as you read those questions, right, really be able to pick out what type of question it is. Now, why do I make you do that? Because it's annoying? No, because it makes you focus on that part of the formula sheet. If you've told me that it's a paired data type of question, as long as you follow through with that and you don't flip-flop, right, then you're just focused on that area of your formula sheet, and then that's what you're doing. Right, so I'm kind of, my hope is that it helps you focus on what to do next. Yeah. So, and you need to tell me what type of question for 1 mark each. That's already built into those marks there. Right. That's kind of nice. Which they don't make you do in the textbook, obviously. That's something I've added on. And then it's summertime. Any questions about the final exam? I'll give you the Excel output that you need, but you don't get that until the final exam. You are writing with another one of my classes, which is a math for arts class. So make sure you write the right exam, or maybe it might be fun. I don't know. Yeah, you guys are all happy about it. I said the same thing to my math for arts kids, and they're like, no, I don't want to write a data science exam, thanks. And so you guys might be tempted, but they're not. So leave their exams alone, okay? All right. And I haven't checked, but I think we're alone in S104. It's kind of the worst exam room, but at least the seats are comfy. Right? It's the big auditorium. Yeah. Yeah, in the S building. Have you guys been in there? It's like the theater, basically. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All my exams are in there. That's so dumb. Yeah. It is. Is there? I hope that there's enough room that you can have kind of both tables. I think there will be. I think it's just my two classes in there. So we'll be really spread out. So you'll be able to have kind of two tables going because, ugh. But yeah. So yeah, they're like this, like little old school school desks. You can go check it out. So funny, one exam period before the exam started, Joya put in a work request to have all the seats WD-40'd, and they said no. Pardon? Fume us all out. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 6 to 9. I know. Yeah, mine too. I know. It's, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But it's early in the exam schedule, so that's good, I guess. But yeah, kind of uncool, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Any questions before I let you work on your mini projects or whatever it is that's due today? No questions for me. Okay, then I will stop this recording and let you, I guess, well, thank you for a wonderful term. I had to have that in the recording. You worked very hard, but it's not over yet. And I hope that you'll come find me for your analyses for your capstones. I hope. Anyways, with that, you can work on your mini project or whatever it was that was due today. You're all adults. Yeah.